Okay, hey, how's everybody doing? My name is Jim Barnhart. I am with Crude Coin Investments, and we are here to help the average person on up to a more of a seasoned investor, maybe invest and grow their income so that they can reinvest it in possibly other things such as real estate, uh, your retirement accounts like a 401k and IRA, and build your future basically from small investments on up. So there'll be several different things we'll go through. I'm basically re-recording this from what I did before because there may have been some confusion, mostly on my part, because I get confused pretty easily. Oh, and distracted. But anyway, we will gonna go over different things so you can see how you can turn a small investment into a pretty good return. And if you have more money to invest, we're going to show you how you can make 50% per month, not annually, but 50% per month on your investment with us at Crude Coin Investments. I'm also going to do a couple more videos after this. One will be how you can invest your 401ks or your IRAs into the cryptocurrencies through us here at the Crude Coin Investments. Another video I will also put together is where we can invest your earnings from Crude Coin Investments and then put it into a policy where after a certain amount has been invested, we'll show you how that will you won't have to continue to put in monthly premiums. It will kind of self-perpetuate and grow on its own. And then in 20 years, 30 years, when you're ready to retire, there's a point and a certain amount that you will be able to take out each month to basically live on the rest of your life. And you won't have to worry about Social Security because we all know that probably won't be around or very much for us when we get there, I'm assuming. And then we here at Crude Coin Investments also, the initial idea was to really help everybody who didn't have a whole lot of money to invest in anything and build up and didn't know how they could get into other things such as real estate, so they can really grow a portfolio of real estate, whether it's rental properties, apartment complexes, buying and selling houses, flipping in, whatever you want to do. This investment in here should be able to give you some good ways to earn that money that you can invest it into real estate. And we have some great opportunities through Crude Coin Investments itself to be a part of a group investing in larger apartment complexes and whatever else. We have some interesting things coming up. You want to stay tuned for that. So anyway, between that, learning how to pay off your house and your home quicker, and as I mentioned, your 401k, you can invest in your 401k or IRA in Crude Coin. So you can take $5,000 out of your 401k, invest it in with us at Crude Coin Investments, and we'll show you how you can bring that all back out and grow your retirement account tax-free. So with that said, let's get going. I'm going to go through the earnings projection chart with you real quickly, probably about another 15-20 minutes, show you a few things that are going to be a lot of fun with that and how you can grow. And I hope some of this blows you away, because you'll have to understand how this grows. Is we are using basically crowdfunding, and if you invest $1,000 in something and it grows 1,000%, which is a lot of what these cryptocurrencies are doing. Imagine if you grouped $100,000 of everybody's money, and that just grows exponentially, and then everybody makes money. And that's how we're able to do some of the 50% returns on that. We're also doing something nobody else is doing, and that's guaranteeing your initial investment. That's right. We're going to guarantee your initial investment. So if you put 500, 5,000, 50,000 down, whatever it is, as we get going, we're going to put an escrow account together, and we're going to put your money in there so that if something happens and the market falls and everything, the bottom falls out on everything, and you lose everything in your investment, which you shouldn't, because you're going to make some money and then you're going to turn around. We're going to show you several different ways, like I said, to invest it. But if the world just explodes and everything falls apart, you will at least, if nothing else, get your initial investment back. I don't believe there is any other company in the world that's doing that. So stick with us. Let's get going on this so we can get through, and then look for those other videos, and I'll talk more in depth about the 401k IRA, the real estate stuff we're going to be investing in, and how you can learn to take your payments here from your earnings in the Crude Coin investment and pay off your house quicker. And get that out of your hair so you don't have mortgage payments. So anyway, here we go, everybody. Hold on, sit back, relax, and to the fun stuff. All right. Let's get into this now, and then we kind of go over this. I'm going to try to get through this pretty quickly. Every time I seem to do this, it drags out, so I'm going to try to go as quickly as I can. Okay, now, with Crude Coin Investments, we're here really, like I said before, to let the average everyday person who's not really a seasoned investor per se, or even somebody who invests in something, but would like to kind of get out of their little rat race, get out of their paycheck to paycheck. And so I'm going to show you a few ways, starting out with very little money, on how investing with Crude Coin Investments they can make some good money, and on the side while they're still working, or eventually get rid of their job and kind of retire, so to speak, whatever that means to everybody. So here we go. If you were to start out in month one, and let's say month one is January to make it easy, we're going to put in place where you can put in $100. You can probably grab that from somewhere or have a little extra here and there. And what we're doing is with this, we make a 50% investment, 50% return on your investment every month. So when you roll it over, okay, you earn $50 on your $100. Okay, you roll that $50 over and you make $150. Now half of 150 is 75. So roll that 75 over to 225, and so on and so on. Now, how Crude Coin Investments works is no matter what level you come in at, whether it's $100 investment, $1,000, $10,000, whatever, the first 3 months you are required to leave your investment in place. So you can't take anything out until month 4. Now, the reason for that is that, first of all, you wouldn't want to when you see how the numbers kind of grow after a while. But in order to build up and have everybody make a 50% return, all we need to do is make sure that people are rolling their first 3 months at least over, and they aren't allowed to take anything out until month 4. That way we can build up a nice little nest egg, and everybody will win. If people are taking out money in the beginning, then it doesn't work, and we can't offer 50%. If you want to go to another place and try to get 50%, good luck. Some places are doing 10 or 25%, but you've got to put in $10,000 or $20,000 or more. Okay, so for those of you who want to get going on this and you want to start out with $100, you can make in your bank account $8,750 right there at the very bottom, month 12. By the end of the year, that $100 can turn into $8,700, okay? And you just leave it in there. Forget about it. $100, poof, goodbye. Just pretend it fell out of your pocket and you lost it. But you really didn't, because it's in a safe little account here making $8,700. Then you start month 13, which is the beginning of next year. When you let this roll over, $4,300. Now you have $13,000 from your original $100 investment from January to January to start out with next year. Now let me show you a quick trick here. If you took month 13, okay, and let's just copy that, and this is month 13 up here, basically. Whoops, sorry about that. I am not doing that right. Okay, let's do this. 13,124. And if you just let that grow, you're looking at $756 to $1.1 million in 2 years just on $100. I don't know if that blows you away, but that's pretty powerful stuff if you just are disciplined enough to let that $100 grow. Okay. Now, I'm not going to get into the 2-year deal because the numbers just start getting staggering. So we're just going to go back to a typical 1-year return on our investments here. Okay. All right. Let's say now we, instead of $100, we are able to scrape up about $500. Okay. We'll show you where these numbers go. You let this grow 3 months. In the 4th month, okay, you've got $843 you're making on your original $500 investment. You've got $1,600 in your account, okay, and you're allowing that to also grow. Just leave it alone. Don't even touch it. $500. Just leave it alone. Forget about it. Forget about it. Then you keep going. By the end of the year, you will have $43,000, $44,000 in your account, in your Crude Coin Investments account. Now, at that point, you are earning $21,000, $22,000 in that month. It just takes a little time. You made $250. You let that 50% grow. Now you're at $562. By month 4, you're at $843. Now, you know, in month 5, you're making $1,200 just on a $500 investment. You're making more than twice what you put into it. Month 6, $1,800. I would say by now month 7, now let's play around and pay some bills off. You don't want to pay your bills off too early, because you can really affect the number down here at the end, and this is where things really start to grow. And you want to get a nest egg in there. You want to retire. You want to live a life that you can reinvest into, you know, the real estate like we talked about, or set up your accelerated retirement accounts where we'll show you how you can set that up and have it self-fund itself after a while. You don't have to keep putting monthly premiums in, and you can retire off of that with several $1,000s a month there. And that's just one avenue. And then the real estate's another avenue. And then, you know, I mean, it just goes on and on. We've got so many things for our investors that no other company will offer to solidify a financial future for you. And it's not just investing in the crude coins and the cryptocurrencies that Crude Coin invests in initially. We want you to solidify your investments, you know, in real estate and other solid investments. Maybe precious metals eventually we'll get you guys into, so you can hold gold or silver or platinum or whatever. We don't know yet where we're going to go, but there's a lot that's going to happen, and you want to be a part of this. And you can see how just little investments like $500 will get you up to $43,000, $44,000 in 1 year. Okay, so now let's say, you know, you're just living life, you're just working your job, you're paying your bills as normal, and you're just letting this grow, and all of a sudden you remember, oh, you know what, maybe I should check on my account to see where I'm at, and then all of a sudden it's like the end of August. Like, whoa, I've got $4,200 coming in that month, and I had a few expenses. I might be getting behind, and I might have to, tell some of these credit card companies I might have to be late. Well, now let's start dipping into our earnings. Now, do not, and this is my suggestion, and you have to remember, any investment that you do is a high risk, and we are not responsible for what you do with your own money. That is strictly up to you. So if we suggest something and you take that advice, that is on you. If something happens and it doesn't go well, that's part of the risk. Just like if you buy a stock, okay, same type of thing. You're responsible and liable for your own investments. We're not telling you to do anything. We're suggesting We're recommending, and that's about all we can do. And if you follow that, you're at risk just like we are. If you decide not to follow that and do something else and you win or lose off of that investment, again, that is up to you. So as we suggest and recommend things for you to do, part of that is I recommend that you let this build up for a while, especially if you have a smaller investment like $100, couple $100, $500, because you really would like this to be huge by the end of the year, and it can be. I mean, where else can you put $500 in and you have $22,000 available for you to use at the end of the year? How's Christmas that year going to be? Okay, so I want to pay bills. I got to pay. Oh God, I got behind. Okay, great. Now let's take $1,500 out for bills. Okay, and see where we're at. Okay. Now I'm able to pay bills here. I still have $2,700 I'm rolling over, not $4,200 now, but $2,700. So it's not rolling over as quickly. But I still have an account filling up to $11,000, and I know I'm going to make $5,600 the next month. Okay, and maybe I want to catch up, get a few more bills paid off, and I do another $1,500. Okay, instead of $5,600 now I'm only upping it $4,100 for the next month at $15,000. But you know what? A $500 investment is making me $35,000. I still have $17,000 to have a great Christmas. You know, and if you keep doing this each month, you can see where you end up. You know, and it's just a big help. Maybe you get, you know, a few things, your credit cards paid off. Okay, you still have a nice Christmas. So in January, you got your credit card bills coming in. Okay, now you want to make a $5,000 payment. Okay, catch up on Christmas. Maybe you went on vacation. Maybe that's 6. Maybe that's 7. Whatever. Okay, you're rolling over 17 or 14,000 to make. At the beginning of the year, you're starting out with $45,000, $46,000. You're making $23,000 that month. Yeah, you can afford to pay off your credit card $5,000. Okay, let's say you even did it for $10,000. Okay, you're still going to roll over another $12,000, $13,000 right there. You have earned $75,000 at 50% income, as this adds up in 13 months, not 12. Okay, so that's a 13 months. Subtract 22, and you're at what 53,000. Not bad. You've rolled over 57, 58,000 right there. That's just 500 bucks. Okay, let's get rid of these. Okay, and now we're going to show you some stuff that's really going to blow your mind, I hope. Now, okay, now let's say you're able to pull together 1,000. Month 12, you're making 87,000. Remember, you have 3 months. You cannot take anything out, okay, until your 4th month. Why would you? Is the question anyway. You want to build this up, because I've done the math on this, where if you started taking money out in these first 3 months to begin with, and you can't do that in order to get the 50% return anyway with Crude Coin Investments here, we limit you to the 4th month, but you still only have $1,687 that you can play with. Okay, now let's say, you know, I need $500. I got some expense in the house. Okay, water heater broke. You need to put some sort of payment on it, and I know it's $1,000, but maybe you have a deductible with your insurance or something like that's going on. Okay, so I take $500 out, take care of that bill. Okay, and then I'm like, all right, I'm caught up. I'm okay. I'm still working my job, of course. I'm going to roll over, instead of $1,600, it's just $1,100. I'm still going to make $78,000, $79,000 by the end of the year. I'm going to roll this over 22. Now, when I get to be about $5,000 a month, $7,000, $8,000 a month, now I'm starting to earn a good job's worth of salary. I don't know how many people are making $11,000, $12,000, $17,000 a month salary, but right around September or the month 9, whenever you start, and this month 1 could be March, April, whatever, and you continue rolling it from there. But let's just say month 1 is January. So by September, you're making $11,500, 50% of your $23,000 that has grown from your original $1,000 investment. Now let's start paying off some bills, okay? Let's get a car payment or a credit card paid off. Okay, here's 2 months of credit cards. Okay, 10,000 of credit cards, let's say you have. Okay, you're still making 60 grand. That's a pretty good return. Okay, and you're going to start the next year with 90, providing you let this roll over, unless we have more bills, which we will, because we're going to do another 5,000. Okay, now we want to have a good Christmas. So we run up the credit cards again and stuff like that. I've got $27,000. Let's say 10 grand. Okay. And we had a nice Christmas or we went on a nice vacation with the kids somewhere. You could probably do a pretty nice vacation for 5 to 10 grand with 3 or 4 kids. Most places, I would imagine, that would be fairly, except in exotic locations somewhere. Who knows? Anyway. Doesn't matter. Bottom line is you got 10 grand now to pay off that credit card. You get that balance down to 0. Well, you're still going to roll over $17,000 and start the next year with $72,000. You're starting with $72,000. You started with $1,000 the year before, but you're going to start with $73,000 right there. And you've now rolled over and made on the 72. You made another $36,000. And then now you can really start paying cars off. You can pay all your other expenses, get your house, maybe pay off your mom and dad's house eventually. I'll show you how to do that, but let's not worry about that yet. I just want to show you numbers of how little you can actually invest. And if you get a little bit more, you can really have some fun with this. Okay? And I just want to get through this pretty quickly tonight so you get the concept. You basically get the idea. Okay? Now, let's say you're able to scrounge up 5 grand. Whoops, that's 50. Let's do 5 grand. Believe it or not, by the end of the year, a $5,000 investment, if you are disciplined and do what we recommend, you will get $437,487.79. Well, give or take. I was just throwing that in there. $437,000 in December. Or January, or maybe February at this point by the time we get started, okay? So a year from, 12 months from now. Okay? So you let this roll over because you can't take anything out until month 4. But that's okay. You pay your minimum payments on stuff. You put people off if you have to. You just say, because you know what's coming in. I mean, you're going to have 8 grand. You could probably pay off every single little piddly ass bill that is a thorn in your paw every month, except, recurring stuff like the utilities and cable and all that stuff. But just stuff that you'd bought that's, your bed or furniture that's just nagging $100 a month here and there payment until it's paid off. Get that all paid off. Okay? Get your credit up. Once your credit's up, then there's a whole lot more you can do, and we'll talk about that in the future. But at this point, do not, or I should say, I recommend you do not take all of your investment that you make. Do not touch this. Don't touch your original investment. This is your pot that's making you money right here. Okay, you don't want to take money out of this, which means you don't want to take more than what you made over here. And you don't need to, because I think you can probably live pretty well if you're working. You only throw $5,000 in, and you're working at your job. Your spouse has their job, but this just gives you a little extra comfort to pay stuff off. So I would recommend try not to spend more than half of that 50% you just made. So don't spend more than $4 grand in your bills. because the next month you can up it. You'll pay 6 the next month, and you can pay 9 the next month, and then you can pay 10, and then all of a sudden in 3 months you have paid 6, 9, 12 grand for a total of almost 25 to 30 grand. Do you think you can get your credit cards paid off? Do you think you can get your car knocked down and almost paid off maybe in another month or two? Do you think you can get all of these nagging bills off and get your credit up? Be disciplined. Okay, be disciplined. Don't take out more than half of what you got in here. Because the more you can get this to grow, the more you can do in the future, which is what we have to offer you guys, is ways to invest with us, and you've got to grow this over here. If you don't have this here where you can take out the money here because you don't want to touch your original investments over here, you want to touch this, what you've made, your earnings, okay? For example, and I'm just going to run on this quickly, we have real estate opportunities that we want you guys to invest in. There are ways that we can get you into 401ks where we can grow this money tax-free if you do it the right way and listen to what we're saying. You don't have to do it. We're recommending this, and we'll make sure it's a solid investment for you. We'll make sure it's all up, on the up and up. Okay? We have the accelerated retirement plan that's a separate way to make a retirement living, so you don't have to worry about anything. Even if these investments tank, even if for some reason the real estate dropped and we lost all that, okay, but real estate is the best investment over time. It's been proven, okay? So we have things for you to get into. So if you start taking money out of here, you're going to ruin the whole plan of how this works, and works for everyone, not just you, but everyone together. Because without everyone together, crowd fund, without everyone together, we can do a lot more as a team than we can as individuals. So that's the big thing. You keep growing this. You want to pay off your bills, and that is part of this whole thing, is get those bills paid off, get your cars paid off, maybe get a new car and pay that off really quickly just so you're feeling good, because eventually you could probably get into a new house. Don't sell your house, rent your house. Buy a new house to live in while you rent your house. Have those tenants pay for any of that mortgage that's not paid off yet. Or, as we'll show you, you can pay off your mortgage here. We'll help you show you how to get a HELOC. Okay, and then use the HELOC to pay off your house. Once your house is paid off, then when you rent it, all that money comes to you. You don't have to pay part of it for mortgage and only pocket $300 or $400 or $200 or something. Okay, so there's so many ways we want to help you invest more than just through the crypto. This initial investment and leaving the 50% in there to grow is the way we can help each and every one of you get to a point where you can start investing in other vehicles while you let this continue to grow over time. Because this 656,000 is going to be 1.2 million next month, in a couple months maybe, okay? And that could keep growing. Now we're putting you in a position financially where you can start investing in other things. As a group, we will be getting into things like apartment complexes, where you make X amount per door, and if it's a large apartment complex, imagine making anywhere from $5 to $100 a door, and you've got 100 to 1,000 doors in this apartment complex. You do the math. And that'll be coming in each and every month. And we do that over and over and over again. And you have 10 apartment complexes. Okay, so the first one, let's say, is making you $4,000 a month. And now we have 10 apartment complexes that you're invested in because you have enough in your bank here to make it happen that you can be a partial investor And now you're making 40 grand a month just on your apartment complexes that we have all bought as a group together. But it only works if you do this correctly. And it only works if you have to keep your money in. Boom, month 4 is when you can start taking stuff out to pay. So it's really 3 months of just living like you are. And in month 4, for most of you, unless your investment is like the $100 investment, and that you should not even just touch for a whole year. That anything that's below $1,000, really don't even touch for the whole year. Just leave it in there and let it grow. Okay, so get your bills paid off in here. Don't use more than 50%. We recommend. You can do whatever you want, but if you blow it and do all 12,000, okay, you don't have much to roll over. All of a sudden you drop $300,000 right here that you could have made. You have $300,000 less. Okay, now I got another 12,000 I want to, take out. You see, you've just dropped yourself another 300,000. Don't do that. This is why 6,000. 6,000. Okay, you barely maybe dropped to $70,000, but can you live on a $323,000 with a $5,000 investment? Yeah. Be careful. Be careful. Your bills will get paid off. Trust me, you start piling these up and you got another $328,000 coming in the next month. You could at that point take $100,000 out of here, less than half. Take 100 grand right there. You're still going to start the next year off with 556,000. How many bills and everything can you pay off with 100 grand one time? That's all you did, and you just lived off of everything else this whole time here. That's all you did. Just pay your bills as normal. I hope that blows you guys away to see how much this little bit of investment is gonna help everybody get to where they want to be and get to that retirement. The stuff we're going to talk about, how you can pay off your houses, the stuff we're going to talk about building your income tax free with your retirement account, setting up a separate accelerated retirement policy account, basically. We'll explain more how that works. The real estate investment, that's 4 vehicles beyond just the Crude Coin Investments, where we will set you guys up to be multi-millionaires if you do this correctly. And that's just the everyday average Joe like you and me, who never thought we'd be able to live past paycheck to paycheck, even though our lifestyle increased as we made more money. Just for fun, 10 grand, you're able to maybe borrow a little bit. You've now accelerated your income to almost $900,000. Okay? You still need to leave your investment in here. This is the only way it grows for everybody, is everybody has to help out. And that means nobody can take any money out until month 4. But you don't need to. Let that grow. Now, my hell, look at that. You get $17,000 you can start paying some bills off with. Let's say you only need $5,000 extra that month, because you still have your work. I'm sure you're still working, and your spouse is still working. Okay, but did you see how that 5,000 dropped 874 down to 789, about 100 grand? But that's okay. I put 10 grand in and I make almost $800,000. Oh, I think I can afford to pay off a few bills now. Okay, as you go up or further down in this chart, the less it affects this number. The higher up it is in the chart here, and of course you can't touch these, but here, month 4, month 5, the more it will affect your bottom line here. I think what we're going to do is I'm going to set out this Excel document Once we get going, we'll probably we'll put it on the website and you can download it onto your program. So you can kind of calculate yourself where you need to be each month and the best way to do it. Would that be helpful? Would that make everybody so, oh, okay, so if I invest 10 grand and if I wait until down here to start paying bills, how is that going to affect me and am I going to be okay? Or does it matter? Even if this ends up being 2 million instead of almost 9, I'm sure you won't care. But maybe you want to keep that and really be a 5-person investor in an apartment complex instead of a 1 of 20 person investor in an apartment complex. Depends on this number here, you guys. Depends on how big your number is right there. Okay? So if the more you have here, the more you can invest in certain things that we might have. And the more money you can make. You can start putting 30,000 towards bills right here. You can start doing 50,000. Now remember, you have taxes on all this stuff that you take out, which is why we also recommend you do an LLC. And put everything you can, your car, your house, everything should be purchased in an LLC, and that business should be purchasing that, not you personally. And you only pay yourself a salary of $24,000 a year, let's say. So you're taxed on $24,000 a year personally. But your LLC or your S Corp or whatever, okay, only gets taxed. Well, it gets taxed differently, and you won't get taxes. You will get your 15% or whatever. And we'll get into that because I'm gone blank on the details. So please don't hold me to that right now. But I think you'll have enough to pay any taxes you have, but we want to minimize that, which is why we'll talk about growing this investment in your 401k or IRA where it can grow tax-free. There's so many things we can go with it. Stick with us, but if you jump in and jump out and take all your money out and all that, I mean, you could do that, but we have so many different ways. If you stay with us, if you invest long term with us, you are going to make more money than you could have possibly ever imagined. You're going to be able to be involved with more things than you ever possibly could have imagined. You're going to be able to protect your assets and save on taxes more than you ever thought you needed to. I always said, I would love to pay $1 million in taxes. And I would. Because if I'm paying $1 million in taxes and I know how to pay 2/3 less in taxes, that means I'm making pretty good. I'm making $4, $5, $6, $7 million a year, give or take, whatever it adds up to be. Okay, so I hope everybody understands this. I want to put this calculator out there eventually for you guys once we get things up and running, because if you can live your lifestyle for a while and just give it 6 to 9 months, you could do it in the month 4. But man, just give it a 6 to 9 months. You can put people off. You can just say, pay your minimum payments on everything until you get down here. I got $192,000 spent. Let's put $80,000 towards my bills. All right, this month I want to buy a couple of little things and maybe put money down on a house. I'm just giving suggestions. There's lots of different ways we're going to show you how to purchase things differently than you expect. And one of them is do not purchase things personally. Purchase them in an LLC, in a side business. Create a business. Call it whatever you want. Just make sure it's an LLC or an S Corp. And then talk to an attorney about the best way that'll help save you in taxes. And talk with them about how you can purchase and what you can purchase and all the things you can write off. Because if you are a self-owned business, you have over 400 plus deductions. As a personal 1040 employee, W-2 employee, you have about 15. So you pretty much could write off everything and get 50% back on different things. You don't get 100% on everything, but you get 50% here, 30% there, 80% there. Sometimes you get 100% depending on how it's used for a business expense. We're gonna hopefully go through and show you guys how to do all that. But for now, this gives you a good idea of where you could be. And again, remember, let's just throw $20,000 if you want a great scratch and claw. Now I've got almost $2 million to play with by the end of the year. Imagine the investment opportunities you can do with us beyond that. Okay, you can start paying bills off here if you'd like, and it'll drop. This is why I want to say the farther down in the months that you pay things off, you can do larger expenses, the less it's going to affect this. But the higher up you pay, and let's say you got 15,000, because that's still less than 33, a half, so less than half. So there's 15,000. Now I've lost about $2 million with a $15,000 payment. We'll also show you how this $15,000 payment towards your mortgage principal only will save you over $44,000 on a $300,000 home at 6% interest. And 6% interest is actually 120% interest. And we'll show you that later. I hope this helped you guys. This is just something that is just blows me away. Again, you do $1,000 and look where we're at, 87,000. But the next year you start at 87 up here. You just take 2 years. It just takes you 2 years, and you're still back up at 7 million. Okay, what you missed out on, and 9 months later you caught back up to whoever put in 10 grand. Anyway, you guys are awesome. I hope this makes sense. Look for the next video that's coming out that I just finished recording today also about the accelerated retirement. A gentleman named Steve Ross, who's one of the founding partners at Common Sense Financial, will go through how you can set yourself up for retirement, protect yourself, and don't ever have to worry about Social Security. And this is just if you just did that by itself. But you want to do that. You want to do a real estate investment. You want to keep investing with Crude Coin so that grows, so you can invest more in real estate. Put it all in a retirement account so you can build that tax-free, and so on and so on. And I'm sure we're going to come up with many more investments, such as precious metals. Who doesn't want to get into gold and silver to hedge your bets on any type of currency in the world that might fail, especially the dollar? Anyway, you guys are awesome. Appreciate all your time, and take care. Have a good night.